Right, we're out and about here at Nutrien Equine Services. Luckily, Lee's got that on his shirt. Leigh Miles, hello.
Hello, Paulie. How are you?
Very good. And Alison. And Alison didn't want to hang on to the microphone. Anyone asking, she says, I don't want to hang on to that. So, hello, Al.
Hello. How you doing?
Very good. Back for another year after a very, very successful year last year with the Nutrien sale, which is on this Sunday coming, April 3rd. Sale commences at 11 o'clock. You guys are pretty early in the draft too, so we want to make sure that people are there very, very early. But firstly, just to, I suppose, look back at last year, the excitement level, you guys were pretty happy?
Absolutely, Paul. Yeah, couldn't have been any more happy. Yeah, it was. You go in with sort of a figure that you'd like to get, but what we got was just out of this world and beyond our wildest dreams. Yeah, amazing.
And that was a Captain Treacherous filly last year out of You Ask Ellie. This is a half sister that you're offering up this year, lot 114. Her race name now though is Lochinvar Xena, and she made a Group 1 final at a second race start. She ran second first up, but didn't have the best of luck. Unfortunately for you guys, a nice Group 1 win alongside of it would have been lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she didn't have the best of luck. They were racing in tight spaces going into the first corner, and she got hanging a bit. And when she eventually straightened up, yeah, I think she clipped the wheel and finished out the back. But her run at her first start was full of merit. She did everything right, did everything perfectly. Got beat a bit by the eventual winner of the final, Jewel Melody. So, Connections are more than happy with where she's at this stage at her first preparation.
And it's only early on in the season too. Like, this is a reality. Even though it's April, the way the season's been restructured, it's still very early on. There's a lot of people sitting back waiting, and I'm sure their Connections are waiting for the end of the season with her too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she got to the trials this time in, and yeah, they took her to Bathurst, and yeah, she made the final, which was a great achievement. Lot
114 is a sweet Lou out of You Ask Ellie. She's a lovely type, Al. She's a beautiful, like I was lucky enough to do the video work and just got roped into doing a bit of photography work, which is not my forte. But she's a beautiful, strong filly, isn't she?
She's a different type to last year's one. She's bigger and stronger and longer. I suppose that's probably the Sweet Lou versus the Captain Treacherous. And yes, quite an athletic filly, I think.
Yeah, and Sweet Lou's are very well sought after, especially this year. Go and have a look at this 2-year-old stats. I'll get in trouble from Husey, but I think he's already had 12 individual winners this year alone as a sire, which is huge for a horse that I think still flies under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, that's right. Yeah, he's had quite a few nice early 2-year-olds. Whether they're actually an early 2-year-old type, I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully he can get a classic winner soon. Yeah, he's done a great job so far.
Yep. Well, he's not far off it. I mean, he's had seconds in Miracle Miles and things like that you can't do.
Absolutely.
You guys are breeders, Nutrien Equine Services. You actually predominantly get people's horses in files and the likes, but you also breed now to sell. Lee, you don't train anymore. A lot of people will probably be watching this and say, you should be back training and getting back to the races, but this horse is up for legit sale.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. I had to give up training. I wasn't in a good place, so the world was a brighter place after I stopped training, and luckily Alison's been very supportive of that, and we've been able to focus more on the breeding and foaling down of mares. So we foaled down 100 mares again this season, and goodness knows how many we put back in foal. But yeah, it's a whole lot better place to be now, and the kids are a whole lot happier now that I'm not getting home at midnight and leaving for races and whatnot. So get to follow the kids around with their netball, dancing, pony riding and whatever. So yeah, it's a whole lot better place now.
Cross country, even if Gracie hasn't watched this yet, yeah, she's going cross country.
She's yes. Cross country. Much to her disgust, no doubt. Yes.
But do you enjoy it, Al? Like, I mean, we were just talking there before, and even talking to Kath McIntosh last week about your breeding time and how it's mind-numbingly zapping. But you all seem to enjoy it.
I don't think you could do the job if you didn't. It's so exhausting and so time-consuming during the season. Luckily, it doesn't go all year. I don't think you could possibly do the job if you didn't love it. And you sort of run on adrenaline for that however many months the season goes for, and then life gets pretty quiet at the minute, and it's a bit hard to get a bit motivated at this time of year. It's a bit quieter and easier, but in the stud season, you sort of just go, and then don't realise how tired you are until it all finishes.
The sales component, do you enjoy that? Because I know last year you were very emotional, and I mean you both were, and rightfully so, but I think even beforehand nerves were up and edges. Do you enjoy that side of it?
We haven't done it a lot, I suppose, and certainly last year we enjoyed it because you'd be crazy not to, but it's probably not an easy game. I'm glad it's not our only income. I think there's a lot of pressure on people who do that for a living, and it's a lot about what's fashionable and what's not, and what people like and what they don't. And I think it'd be hard to do it full time. But obviously, this mare we bought because she was so well bred, so it makes sense to sell the foals. And with Leigh not training,
yep,
she's the only one we breed from now. We have kept the first filly out of her, but because it's such a good family. But other than that, there's no reason for us to keep them.
Yeah. So is that an evolution that may happen, that you may venture getting more and more mares, or do you try and keep it to the couple that you own?
Probably just a couple of that we own ourselves. Yeah, we've got more than enough.
Lee's eyes were rolling back a little bit. He's like, Paulie.
Well, last year I think we had 8 or 9 mares through winter. This year we've got 17. So resident mares, yeah. Not so ours. Like we foal down 100, but they come a month or 6 weeks before they foal, or sometimes a week, depending on the owners. And then they leave. They foal down. If they go back and foal, they'll stay to their 45 or till their 14 days. But then they leave again, which gives our properties a rest through winter, which is awesome. But this year I think we've got 15 or 16 to wean, so that's a whole lot more work for me, teaching them to lead and tie up and whatnot, which is good if they're good. And the more you handle them as foals on their mothers, the better they are. So I like watching horses learn, kids learn. I coach netball, and watching things improve and learn, I get a big kick out of that. So I don't think we'll get more mares, whether we get, like we've kept the first filly out of Ali, so we'll probably breed from her and sell those foals as well. Yeah.
Yep. So you will slowly build up. But I mean, you used to do the yearling sales as well, especially as a breaker. You used to be there quite often just to take people's horses home.
Yeah,
so
that's it. Yeah.
Do you enjoy? I said to Al, but do you enjoy the actual?
Yes and no. As Al said, people like what they want to like, and not necessarily, or they'll probably cross off a horse off their sales list because of some minute thing. Whether that's right or wrong, who knows?
That's it.
It's the luck of the draw. Some horses with the most terriblest legs can come out and be fine, not break down, not hit knees, whatnot. But I used to get stressed. We bought this mare off a chap called Rick Hines. That's probably why we were so emotional last year. He was a great supporter of us, and he owned Amarillin, the mother of Ali, and we prepared Miss Graceland and Nostra Beach for the sales, and he'd be just rapt to get, or see us get the 100,000 and a bit for what we got it for ours last year. Unfortunately, he had a heart attack in his hallway and died before Nostra Beach won her APG and Miss Graceland won the Oaks, so he didn't get to see that. So it would have been really good for him to see us get
100.
The good money that we got last year.
He always said he wanted me to walk through a $100,000 colt out of Amarillin, and he never got to see that. So she never had a colt in his time.
She only had fillies.
Yeah.
Put the mic up to your mouth.
Sorry, mate. Amarillin only had fillies for Rick. Yeah. So once Anthony's got her, I think he's got a colt out of him.
The other opposite problem, I think he's only getting colts.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny how that works, isn't it, Al, with the breeding kind that they get onto locks, and some horses just colts and others just filly. Dean and Blanche Poole, they have the same thing with Gypsy Flair. She just keeps having fillies. Like I think they're sellers. They want to sell a colt. And they're selling fillies because every year she's having a filly, so it does show up. And
it seems to be the opposite of what you want. If you're selling, you want colts, obviously. And if you're breeding, Anthony has Amarillin now, Anthony Caruana, and
he
obviously wants a filly to. He does still own Nostra Beach, I'm assuming.
Yep.
But he would be happy, I think, for another filly.
Just to keep the dynasty rolling.
Got a couple of colts. Instead, which is great racing wise, and if he was selling them, it's great. But I'm pretty sure he's after a filly. So
it is. I just find it's one of those more amazing little things that does happen. That and like I said, there's one this year out of Gypsy Flair, and it's another filly, and people probably think, oh, why are they moving a filly on? But it's purely because I think she's had another filly. I think she's actually got another filly this year as well. Have you got another one out of You Ask Kelly for next year?
We've got an American Ideal colt, who's a weanling. He's got he's a cracking type, got a long stride on like all the fillies have.
You don't have to sell him yet. We're worried about next year.
And she's back in foal to Captain Treacherous. So yeah, we do have a colt for next year. So
yep.
Soho Tribeca and Nolita Oral by American Ideal.
Yep.
So yeah, he's a 3/4 brother to them. So.
We'll let you go. Do you enjoy the crosses? Like, I mean, you know, in your off season, I would imagine you say, rightio, we're gonna. Do you guys like? It's sort of an addictive thing, but do you guys enjoy that side of it?
We probably did more when we were breeding our own to race. Now it's a little bit harder because you're trying to get the right cross, but also making it commercial. Which there's really only a handful of stallions which seem to be commercial at this stage. So it's a little bit harder at the minute when you're breeding purely to sell. When you're breeding to race, you can probably experiment a little bit more with the crosses. But I think breeding to sell, they just want particular stallions, and you have to be very careful.
And it's such a funny thing. I tell people about the story. I was at the sales one day, and a client, or not clients, people I know, they basically had a horse. They were expecting around that 10, 11,000. Wasn't an expensive horse, but you know the conversation basically went, these aren't selling today for whatever reason. They weren't selling. If we get a bid, we'll sell him. I think they still got that $10,000-$12,000 in the end, but basically the horse was on the market for one, because all of a sudden, so 2 years of preparation and everything along those lines, you throw it out the door because all of a sudden the fad at the sales falls over. Sweet Lou's one of those again last year at New Zealand. There was, you know, people for whatever reason weren't keen on them. Now everyone and that's what they were saying last year. So it's a fine line, isn't it? Of
absolutely, yeah.
How to go.
Yeah, and Spirit of St. Louis is a prime example. Like that, some clients, some trainers, owners want the jump and run 2-year-old to win the Bathurst in March, April, or the APG in April, but they're not looking at the Grand Circuit races later on. And Spirit of St. Louis has been the second best. You take away King of Swing, and he's the best going around. So
yeah, well, it's only the stablemate that's actually bought him undone, really.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah,
and he's come about this year. He came about for everyone concerned right at the right time because he started winning the Bendigo Cups all those in January.
Yeah,
so
right.
he reminded people of what a stallion he is and what he can do.
That's right. And a horse like Maltese, I don't know Mr. Portelli at all, but he was a jump and run 2-year-old. Looked awesome, running 52 or whatever he did at the trials. Just looked awesome. Because he did that, he probably raced him probably a fraction early, and something's happening, and he probably hasn't gone on. Same as he's Charlie's Angel of Charlie Guzman's. Just looked awesome early, so let's get a race and get a win and go for a Group 1, but probably would have been off better going to the paddock and been a later horse. But
you look at Spirit of St. Louis, though, they give him time.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be there. And you know, I don't know about Maltese, but I do know he's Charlie's Angel. He's got 4 or 5-year-old written all over him.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
So there's no hassles there.
And I don't blame him for racing them early when they're going so quick and so early. It's absolutely. It's crazy to put them in the paddock, but everyone's different. Everyone's life's journey's different. So yeah, try and get a win while they can, I suppose. But
yours is different. You didn't think you'd be standing under a tree
100%.
2 years ago, did you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd be at the sales, and like we prepared some for Mr. and Mrs. Hines, Rick and Naomi, and Mrs. Sweeney. But then taking home 15 to 20 to break in, and yeah, crazy days. Just don't know how I did it back then. So.
A lot of fun. Right, sale is on this Sunday coming April 3rd, starts at 11 o'clock. Day before, April 2nd, that'll be. There will be a live yearling parade which commences at 1 a.m. All horses will be going through. I gather the filly will be going through.
Yeah.
1 p.m, sorry.
1 p.m.
Well, if they get there at 1 a.m.
You might not get any takers at 1 a.m.
Or it might be a better sale. It might be a better parade. I don't know. I might be able to get it done properly. But that'll go up on Campbell's Comments and Nutrien's Facebook pages, YouTube pages and websites. So people will be able to view that everywhere. And it's a good way. Anyone that's selling horses, make sure you get them ready and put them through the parade. Because I do know that in Sydney, feedback we got was that people weren't looking at a couple of horses, saw them parade, went back and had a look at them. So yeah, it's very, very key. When's this filly going to be on the property?
She'll be down there Friday afternoon at some stage. Yeah, busy weekend with first round of netball games for the footy netball season. One thing I'd like to remind people is that
he's a good man. I forgot about it.
This filly is eligible for the New Zealand size. It's an omit from the catalogue. It doesn't have in there that she's eligible for the Caduceus Club Classic and the Neville Series, as well as Bathurst and obviously Vic Bred Platinum, Australian Breeders' Crown, but she is eligible for the New Zealand size as well. Yep.
Those other 2 races in New Zealand, they are
Group 1s. Yep. They are worth a lot of money.
Threw him under the bus a little
yeah,
bit.
absolutely.
I didn't mean that.
Exactly sure what
They were races I hadn't seen, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're obviously races you have to pay up for to get
They are,
involved.
yep, that's right. Caduceus Club Classic Series, I presume it is, and the Neverly R Series, yeah. So they're eligibility only, like pay up only series, yeah.
One of the guys with the best shirts in New Zealand, Martin Pearson, he'll ring me, he'll tell me
Absolutely.
what it is. So, yeah,
Good
they
man,
have some-
Mr. Pearson. I haven't met him in person, but had long chats on the phone with him.
You ever seen his shirts?
No.
Unbelievable. He's got the greatest shirt collection. Him and Crandall-Getty, I tell you, they must be a couple of stores in New Zealand, I'm telling you. But no, Martin, he has some unique shirts and he wears them to work, so I quite like it. It's all fun.
He's a good man.
Yeah, I'll see if he's watching. He'll give me a message, so I'll know if he's watched to the end of it. Don't you worry about that. Thank you, guys. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be annoying you down there, hopefully afterwards as well. And seeing the emotion we saw last year, I think it was great. So good
No
luck.
worries. Thanks, Paulie.
Thank you.